Am I the a-hole for refusing to babysit my cousin and calling him a lying brat, even though it lets my aunt work extra and helps her family? My 15 years old's Aunt Cassandra, 48 years old, has a son named Tristan, 12 years old, who is a nightmare to be around. Mom started asking me to babysit him so Aunt Cassandra could pick up some extra work. Tristan lies to Aunt Cassandra about me because he knows that she'll buy him a present to make it up to him. I was babysitting him on Friday and he had a screaming fit because I refused to give him his phone until he did his homework, Cassandra's instructions. Because he lied that I had friends over and destroyed the house the last time, I recorded everything to prove my innocence. I showed it to Aunt Cassandra and she still blamed me, saying Tristan doesn't like being recorded and that's the only reason he was acting out. I have told Mom numerous times that I don't want to babysit Tristan because he lies, and I get punished for it. Mom has basically just made excuses that kids his age are like that and I babysit other kids, so this shouldn't be a problem. I showed my mom the video and explained everything that happened on Friday, but she's still saying that Aunt Cassandra needs the help because the money from working extra is a huge help and I can do this for my family because she needs a dependable babysitter. We just got into an argument because she asked me to babysit Tristan again this Friday and I told her no because this kid is a lying little brat. I added that maybe refusing to discipline him is the real reason Cassandra can't keep a babysitter on board and she should try babysitting him to see what it's like. I'm currently grounded. But this has been going on since summer and my patience is out. Am I the a-hole for finally having enough and refusing to babysit Tristan? Even though the extra money Aunt Cassandra brings in really helps her family? Am I the a-hole for telling my coworker to stop bringing up her pregnancy loss? I have this coworker who I've worked with for almost 4 years. In general, she is not a great coworker because she does not always pull her fair share of the weight, and tends to be dramatic with a victim mentality. She has personal issues with eating disorders, and is generally unhealthy according to what she shares with our team. She is also the type of person to make a big show out of everything she does, even the most mundane things. Like she puts on the office Christmas party and has to make tons of posts about every little detail. None of us care. Since we have worked together, she has unfortunately suffered through multiple miscarriages, 5, I think. Obviously that is heartbreaking, and I would never wish that on anyone. However, I can't help but feel annoyed by her behavior when this happens. Each time, as soon as she finds out she's pregnant around 6 weeks, she makes a big announcement to the office and talks about her due date, all of the details, and spends a great deal of time with our manager trying to coordinate all of her 40 weeks worth of appointments. She also has really severe morning sickness, which she will announce to the whole office multiple times per day, each time she gets ill, and pretty consistently leaves a mess in the bathroom. Each time she has miscarried, she makes a large announcement as well, and takes off work for several weeks for recovery. Of course we all feel terribly for her, but I can't help but wonder why she makes such a big deal out of it so early each time if she knows that she has this traumatic history with pregnancy. It's honestly becoming a distraction at work, and as much as I would normally be empathetic, I find it difficult to go through this roller coaster of emotions with her each time it comes up. I think I feel this way because it's a heavy emotional load at work, where I normally try to separate personal feelings as much as possible. Does this make me an a-hole? Am I the a-hole for demanding one-on-one time with my mom, because her friend's autistic daughter is living with her? Here's some background. So my mom's best friend is a very wealthy posh woman. My mom's best friend has a highly autistic child, I'll call her Flower. She leaves her daughter with my mom often to babysit. Flower can do things for herself, but she can't live on her own, work, has no concept of money or time, and communicating is very challenging. So, I live overseas, and I'm going back home for the holidays. Because I know how clingy Flower is with my mom, I asked her not to plan sleepovers while I am there. Or at least, only have one while I'm there. She kinda agreed and quickly changed topic. I found this reaction a little weird, so I started to take account of how often Flower was by mom. I didn't ask right out, but just noticed if I hear her whenever I called my mom. I noticed Flower's voice every time I called. Every time. A month before my flight, I asked her point blank if she told Flower that she won't have that many sleepovers with my mom while I was home. She avoided the question, but I kept asking and not letting her change the subject. Flower has been living with her for the past 3 years, and she wasn't really gonna tell me because she expects me to just accept it and be okay with it. Basically, Flower has refused to go home. My mom and her parents have just let her stay with my mom after she has a breakdown. Now, before Reddit goes down a rabbit hole of why she doesn't want to go home, I'll explain why she says she doesn't want to go home. For the most part, it's because my mom lets her drink soda and run around in hippie pants. Her parents coddle her, expect her to eat healthy, and won't let her run around in pajamas all day. Obviously, I don't know how it is to be autistic, but she has tantrums when she doesn't get her way, and because she's autistic, she gets away with a lot. She's not stupid and can also manipulate my mom easier than her parents. I will be staying with my mom as I always do, but Flower pushes buttons and can be overwhelming for me. I don't think she always pushes my buttons on purpose, but she can be very selfish. So I am not hopeful it will go that well. My mom gets defensive when I ask her for one-on-one time. When I ask over message, she avoids the question. When it's over the phone, she changes the subject or gets defensive. She's agreed to do things with me and says we can do a gym class together. This only reason she says we can do that specific gym class alone together is because Flower doesn't like it, and still Flower has to come with even though she waits in the waiting room. She can and has been home alone, but because she gets extremely upset, my mom just caves. I'm flying home in 3 weeks and I keep thinking about this. My mom has basically added in a new family member and expects me to be okay with it. Am I the a-hole for snapping at my grandparents for protecting my aunt? I'm a 23-year-old young woman that lives with my mom, 41 female, and my stepdad 56 male and my brother 21 male. My mom's parents were always so stuck up. But I still loved them. Growing up, my brother and I noticed a lot of favoritism with my mom's younger sister, Casey, 32 female. My mom has 3 siblings. My aunt, Casey, is mentally challenged with autism. My grandparents gave her extra love and care due to it. Now, mind you, I completely understand that she needed extra love and care due to her autism, but my brother and I both noticed she's very spoiled. She constantly wants to go to Disney, she wants to use all of my mom's products that my mom paid for, and constantly asks my grandparents for money, and they'd give it to her on the spot. One day, it was New Year's Eve. Everyone in the family was having a great time, or so I thought. We all cracked jokes about each other, and about our past memories, and laughed. My mom made a small joke about my Aunt Casey for being silly as a child, eating peanut butter, thinking it was chocolate, and cried about it. Everyone laughed about it, even my grandparents. After New Year's Eve, I went downstairs for some snacks, and I heard my mom on the phone. My grandparents were screaming at her, saying my Aunt Casey cried to them, saying my mom was bullying her and hurt her feelings, saying she attacked her. My mom tried to calm them down, but they kept screaming at her, to the point where I saw tears in her eyes, and heard sniffling. My stepdad tried to also calm them down, but they accused him of also getting in on the bullying. I froze. But then I instantly took the phone from my mom. I screamed at them, calling them ridiculous and stupid. I reminded them that they were there and heard everything, and they have the audacity to attack my parents for something like that. My grandma was crying, and my grandpa was shocked. I told them to go F themselves and never to contact my mom ever again, then hung up. I wrapped my arms around both my mom and stepdad, telling her it wasn't her fault. The next day, my family was telling me I was being too harsh, and that my aunt is autistic and be more considerate. I just wanted to protect my mom. Am I wrong?